So today, or tonight, we have Matthew Peters. He's an award-winning videographer, local here in Middleton.
Yep, Madison, yep.
Madison, yep. And he's going to be talking about video, creating video, and editing video with your iPhone and iPad. So I think most of you already had a chance to meet Matthew. So without any further ado, Matthew Peters.
Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start very basic. This is kind of a primer to using your iPhone, your iPad, or your iPod Touch for video production, or just shooting some video, sharing with friends and family. I'm just going to show you how to do that, maybe get a few tips here and there tonight. Just a little bit about me. I'm the founder of Expert Video Empire, 20 years of video production. I've won some national awards for video production. Was a technology trainer at the university and an author as well, best-selling author. So I want to start tonight with a little survey so I know I can serve you guys the best possible, because I know we have a range of people who have been using the iPad and iPhone for videos and other people who have not yet. So I want to know how many people here have what I call an iDevice. It's going to be an iPhone, iPad, or an iPod Touch with video on it. Okay, great. Anything else that people have, like an Android phone or a flip camera or a still camera with video? Okay, a few others. Well, we're going to concentrate tonight on how to use the iDevices or iPhones, iPads, and iPod Touches. And a lot of those techniques that I'm going to teach you tonight are going to cross over into those other devices. But when we get into something like an iMovie application, that's going to be specific to iPhone. Does that make sense for everybody? Okay. Now, I want to know some of the ways that people want to use these videos. One of the things I really enjoy about videos today is you can use it for so much. One of the things I do is I do this professionally. I use it for marketing and training videos, but also I use it for my family a lot, for vacations, birthday parties, and my brother actually just got married. And he called me about a week before he got married. He said, hey, do you think you could videotape the wedding? And so I had my iPad and my iPhone. I set them up, and before I realized something before I started recording is that there were so many people in the audience that had iPhones. And so what we did was we crowdsourced, or we asked everybody to shoot from different angles, and then at the reception I had them bring their iPhones over. They plugged them into my computer, and I had all these different angles, and it all worked seamlessly because it was all iPhones, the same format. And there's so many people who use iPhones now, you can do that sort of thing. So are there people, I know there's an educator here, people who are trainers, authors, speakers, people who may be using this for a small business, for family. What are some of the uses you like to use the iPhone or iPad for?
I have two. I'm a high school teacher, so I'd like to know a little bit more just about how to use these devices. As schools buy them, they aren't always getting enough time to train us on how to use them, so that's one thing. And then our daughter is special needs, and I know there's a whole world out there of special needs apps, and one of the big things, she has autism that she responds well to is video and video modeling. So.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Thanks.
Anyone else here? Something you want to? Yes.
I run a very small school in Mexico, and for publicity and fundraising, I need to get video of what's going on in the classroom and be able to put it on the social media and, you know, just use it, transfer it, edit it, you know, the whole bit.
Yeah, that's great. Amazing thing about today is to record the video is free. To upload it to a place like YouTube is completely free. And if you know how to use the right words to help people find your message, you can really attract people to your message, to your cause, whatever it is. And it's all free. I mean, 10 years ago, you'd be paying $10,000 for a commercial, plus every ad would be running on the TV. It wouldn't be targeted at all. It's just that the world has opened up with iPhones and YouTube, and that's kind of what we're going to start with tonight. Anything else that you want to make sure that I cover as far as different aspects of video? Yes?
Getting off the data offload or offload off onto a PC. That I'm able to get it on the PC and do the conversion to WMV and all, but a larger film excessive of, I don't know if it was 500 megabytes or something, but it cut off someplace to where everything came off except for that one. And so now I'm stranded on the phone, but I don't want to watch on the phone.
Okay.
So
I might have to talk to you about that afterwards
Okay.
because there's a couple of steps with that.
Okay.
So, anything else you want to make sure I cover tonight? You came here for a reason. You just want to. You're hoping to make sure I cover something. Internet marketing. Internet marketing. Okay. I might cover a little bit of that. Just want to talk about keywords and stuff to help people find your message. Yes.
I guess the one thing I want to make sure that I get with the video is good sound.
Good sound. Okay.
I'm interested in what Apple just gave up their web service. So I'm kind of interested in what the alternatives are to websites or what you do about that and sharing.
For websites. Okay. I'll talk to you. Talk tonight about sharing. I may be able to talk to you a little bit more about that personally afterwards. Anyone else? Yes.
Low light inside and outside of dusk.
Okay. All right. That's pushing the limitations of the iPhone. But yeah, there are some things you can do inside for sure. All right. So anything else people want to make sure I cover tonight? All right. So how many of you already have a YouTube account? Okay. 3, 4, 5 people. All right. YouTube accounts are completely free. And if you have a Gmail account already, then you're just one step away from getting a YouTube account. It's all free, and I'm going to start there. So tonight, I want to let you know it's okay to play. So if you have your iPhone, as long as you're not texting or checking your email and stuff, that's fine too. But when I cover stuff about how to zoom in, how to use your iPhone, iPad, whatever, feel free to go ahead and use that. Follow along there. And then every once in a while I'm going to stop and ask questions and make sure that I'm not going too fast or that you have something. You don't have to wait until the end to ask questions. So I want to start with the end in mind. We have our iPhone or our iPad. We've got some great video we just shot. We're away from our home. We want to put it up somewhere. Well, if you haven't set up your YouTube account, it's just going to stay on your phone. You can upload it to something like Facebook, but I recommend we upload it to YouTube because YouTube, in their billions of dollars, have figured out how to code that video to take that large file that's on your phone, make it really small, and still make it look really good for people, and distribute it either to the entire world or to just your friends and family. So how do we share videos? From now on, I'm going to try to get you to not send video files in an email. There's a lot of delivery problems with that. When you send a video file, they're very large, and some mail accounts will not accept them, will just reject them or call it spam. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a link to a video that's already online instead of sending that file. Does that make sense? Because a link is just a couple bits of information versus 20 or 50 megabytes. We're going to bypass a PC. We're going to bypass your laptop, your desktop computer, and we're going to go right from your phone or your iDevice, and we're going to go right to the internet. All right, so I'm going to kind of step through how you set up a YouTube account. This is going to take about 2 minutes. In real time, this will take you about 2-3 minutes. But you just go to youtube.com, and where it says sign in, I apologize, I know this is really tiny, but it's pretty intuitive once you get to the site. You sign in, and then you create an account. And that's going to take you to a little form here. You just fill in a little bit of information. And then down here you'll see mobile phone. Now you don't have to put your phone number in there. The reason why YouTube does that and Google does it is because they don't want people to just set up 100 YouTube accounts and spam people with it. So if you choose not to do that, they're just going to limit your videos to 15 minutes in length. So if you want to do like a hour-long video, if you have a recital for your child that you want to upload and it's an hour and a half, you can do that. They just ask you to put a mobile phone number in there. So when you do that, they'll just send you a text and then you just verify it.
Wait, can we clarify that? So you're giving them your phone number because they're going to text to say, "Is this really you?" I don't get it. What are they?
They're just verifying it's a real phone number.
Oh.
So I have, I think, 4 or 5 YouTube accounts, all with the same phone number. They're not saying you just get one and that's it for life. They just want to make sure you're putting, it's an exchange of value. You have your phone number, you're not going to just give that to anybody. So if they verify that there's somebody with a phone there, and they're going to, yeah, they just weigh it different. So once you submit that, they'll ask if you want to put your photo in there. You don't have to. You can just skip, go into the next step. And they're going to say, great, you've got your new email address. It's a Gmail address. You don't have to use it for anything. You don't have to use Google Documents or Google Calendar. Those are just resources for if you want to use it.
So if you already have a Gmail account, would you, I mean...
You should be able to use your Gmail address.
Your existing Gmail.
When you log into YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You can't use it with Yahoo, can you?
That's their competitors. So
okay.
yeah. So that's what we're going to do is it's a Google product, and that's why they connect it with Gmail. And it's just Google has become more of a social platform now too. So that's why they connected everything. So right down there, you see that blue box says go back to YouTube. It says up here you're all set. So that was really all there was to setting it up. Now, if you have videos that are on your laptop or your PC or your Mac, it doesn't really matter. If they're on your hard drive somewhere and you want to start sharing those either with your friends and family or with the world, you can just go right up to this upload. It's the upload button right in the center at the top of your screen. And the first time you do it, it's going to say, do you want to share your activity with people who visit your channel, your likes, your comments on videos and such? I just uncheck all those. If you want to share that, you can, but they're not requiring you to share a bunch of stuff. So I click on this, okay, I'm ready to upload my first video. Come to this page, and then just like selecting files from your file manager or your Explorer, you click on this button right here, select files from your computer. You can select one or multiple files and then upload them. And it does a great job of taking any different type of video file you have. I'll say most video files that you have on Mac and PC, or Mac and Windows, and then converting those to something that's playable on any device, meaning iPhones, iPads, your Android devices, anything that's mobile, or your desktop and laptop computers. And then you see this square down here. Some people were talking about marketing, using this for marketing. It allows you to share your activity. So when you upload a video and make it public, like you want the world to see it, it'll automatically use Twitter to tweet it out, and also Facebook to show your friends or your fans how to, that you just uploaded a video and made it public. Now, if you didn't want it to go public, it's not going to be shared. So if you say, I don't want this to be listed, this is just going to be for my friends and family, it will not go up there. All right, so any questions about the things I covered? I know I've covered a lot there. Yes?
So if you say, yes, I want it to be shared on Facebook, is it going to know what Facebook account to share it on?
Yeah, you just connect the two accounts. So there's connecting features with Google and Facebook and Twitter. You're just allowing access. So
you just keep hitting yes or connect or whatever?
Yeah, you enter it'll go to Twitter, Facebook, and then it'll have have your login there. You log in and just connect it, and then you're giving them permission.
Got it.
To post those when you want it public.
Thanks.
Yes.
So whenever I go into my Facebook, when they have videos, especially my young friends, your age younger, and I have a video, that's where it's come from.
Facebook also has some, you can upload videos to Facebook too.
Okay.
I like sticking with YouTube.
Okay.
I'm a video guy, and YouTube really is the better platform.
Okay.
I have issues when I upload videos to Facebook sometimes, and I haven't had any issues with YouTube.
Okay.
I've been using YouTube since 2007. So.
Okay.
Yes.
What was that other one? You had Facebook and then
Twitter
and that first one.
Orca is it's really big in India and in Brazil.
Oh, okay.
But since Google owns it, they put it first. So yeah, you can get all these are free accounts, and if you want to use it for marketing, it's free publicity. It's going to go out there and people can find it. Especially if you know what words to use. So if you had a class in Mexico and it was a language arts class or something, you use the name of the town, and you could use what type of training you're giving people in, and people can find you. They'll actually find your video. So I don't want to get too heavy into marketing here because that's just a whole other can of worms to get into.
It's strange they've done a Google Plus, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is strange. But there is a way to share it once your video is uploaded.
Is it because there's nobody using Google Plus?
What
Not
did
yet.
you say? I don't understand.
Oh, Google Plus is like their kind of Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
So Google is trying to compete with Facebook, and that's one of the things they did.
But nobody uses it.
Nobody uses it yet. So.
Does it make, I don't know if anybody else here is interested, that we'd all try this right now for 5 minutes and you could just, I mean, if you say it takes 2 minutes.
The thing I would say with setting up your YouTube, it's better to do it on a laptop or a desktop, just because you have more real estate to deal with. And I think if you go through the browser on your iDevice, it's really small. And that's why I say set this up at home. And we're also videotaping this, and we're gonna put this up on YouTube. So if you want access to this, just make sure Fiona, my wife Fiona, has your email address, and you can see this again and fast forward and rewind to what you need. Anything else? Yes.
The example you had there, select the things from your computer that you want to upload to YouTube. I thought at the beginning of the conversation they were talking about how to skip the computer and go from the or Android devices directly to YouTube.
Yes.
So that's what's next.
Yeah, we're going to go into, I'll just lay it out. What we're going to do next is we're going to go into how to capture the video, and then we're going to trim it, edit it, and put it up online so you can share it. That's kind of the steps we're going to go through here. Now I got to move faster. So, all right, next we're going to sync YouTube with your iDevice. And I know there's probably going to be some questions with this, but I have my own iPad here. I have this in this armored case here because I have a 5 and a 4-year-old, and they love to take video and pictures with this. So I'm going to actually switch this for here. And this is Apple TV. And if you have an Apple TV, it's about $100 at the Apple Store. You can do this double click, slide it over, and you can mirror your iPad or your iPhone. So this is what I'm doing here, and you're seeing it on screen live.
Does the library own Apple TV, or you can get it?
Not yet. This is mine, so, but it's basically you can just hook it up, and it's as long as they're on the same network, you can share. So this is great for if you're going to do presentations like I'm doing now.
Right.
But what we're going to do is we're connect YouTube that we just set up with our iDevice. Same thing if you have a Android phone. So what you want to do is go over to the My Videos, which is this tab down here, and you'll see where it says Sign Out. Or Sign Out up there. I'm going to sign out, and then I'm going to sign in here so you can see what it's like. I've already pasted that in. I'm going to type my password in here. This is my account just for tonight. All right, see it says sign out, and I've got a couple videos there. That now you know we're connected. The reason we do this is when we start shooting videos, we've got a place to put them. That's why we started with the end. All right, any questions with that? Okay, so we're gonna go to the next thing. So I'm gonna talk about this camera here for a little bit. This camera, just figure this is gonna be the same as your iPhone or your iPod Touch. There are little differences, but basically what I'm gonna cover is gonna be the same. So if I turn on this camera, when you turn the camera on, you have two cameras on here. You have your rear-facing camera, which is HD or high definition, and then you have your standard definition camera or FaceTime camera right here. That's going to be the same with your iPad, your iPhone, or your iPod Touch. Now the big difference is the standard definition camera is made for streaming video. The quality isn't as good. It's for doing like video chats, video phone calls on Skype or with FaceTime. So that's good for that.
So is that why when this ends up facing you, you look pretty bad? Because it's not the greatest resolution? Is that what
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying?
part of it. It
Okay.
just doesn't have, yeah, it's not the same quality.
Gotcha.
So the lens is up here. And one thing I'm going to talk to you, if you're going to be sharing, you're going to be talking to anybody, some kind of message, you want to make sure you don't look at yourself, because this is what it looks like. I'm looking at myself in the video, but if I look at the lens, now it looks like I'm looking at me, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It's a big difference, especially if you want to really connect with people.
So where is the lens?
The lens is over here.
Ah.
And then so, switch to the other side. All right. The other thing I want to talk to you about is when you're shooting, you have landscape mode,
Right.
and then you have portrait mode. Now, unless you're going to be shooting video specifically to send to somebody else who has an iPad, iPhone, or other mobile device, they're not going to be able to take their computer monitor and move it this way. And the reason I say that is, if you notice, if I can record it like this, but when you upload it to YouTube, you're going to have a big black bar over here and over there. So always shoot in landscape mode, unless you're going to just do like a FaceTime video to just share a little message with somebody else that has a similar device. Does that make sense? All right. That's good. Now, actually, if I can have Keith come up here, he's going to be my assistant. Right there is good. All right, so what I'm going to show you is a little bit of stabilization. Now, you see over here I've got a bunch of accessories, but let's say you just had your iPad or your iPhone with you. You don't have a tripod. Well, here's a very simple way to record somebody. So I have him right here. Now, if I hold this out like this, I'm going to record someone. What happens after a couple minutes, you can see it's starting to get shaky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, even if you have a little iPhone, just holding it out in front of you, it's difficult. So what you want to do is bring your elbows in and rest it against your torso. And I can hold this for 5, maybe even 10 minutes. And it's relatively stable. All right? And the other thing I want to show you is, well, let me just show you with the iPhone. Now, I'm not going to share the iPhone with Apple TV, but I'm going to show you how I hold it. So you could hold it out like this because it's lighter, but what we want to do is make C's with our fingers and hold it like this. If you have your hands up like this, after a few minutes, even your fingers get tired. So you hold it like this, and you record it like that. And you can stand and let them talk for a long time. A couple other things you want to think about is, so I'm recording Keith here, and I want to make sure that I'm framing him properly. Now, a lot of people record video putting someone, I'm right in the middle of the screen here, so I'm going to have you stand right over there. Right there is good, sure. They'll put their head right in the center. And if you can think of a tic-tac-toe board, you have 9 individual squares, they're all the same size. What you want to do is put that person's eyes right about on that line that go across the top third. It's more interesting. And Keith, if I have you look over this way just a little bit, what I'm doing is I'm framing it, so I'm giving him what's called nose room. It means he's looking that way. If I put it like this, you're wondering what he's looking at. But if I move it over this way, it's more natural. He has more space where he's looking. So we've got, for composition, we just want to make sure we have enough headroom, like a little bit of, like an inch or so above their head, and then give them some nose room. So if you put someone's head right in the center, it's not as pleasing. So you want to kind of pick a side and then have it like this. All right. So let's talk about audio just for a second. Now, there are microphones you can plug into this, but again, if you just had this in your pocket, you want to shoot something really quick. To get good, clear audio, I know someone asked about how to get good, clear audio. You want to be within 3 or 4 feet. The microphones on here are pretty good at close range, but if they're further away, you start getting all the echo of the room. So, a good rule of thumb is I've got about 3 feet here, maybe another foot, and I'm going to record Keith, and I say, Keith, could you just say your name and where you live? You don't have to give us an address, but where you're from and where you live now, and then just speak loud and clear.
Hi, my name is Keith Gilmore. My social security number is.
All right. We'll use that.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're good, thanks.
Huh?
Now, so we covered audio, we covered how to frame up or compose your shot, stabilization, and just a little bit about the camera. We want to talk about lighting, and lighting is really kind of difficult right now just because of the light we have in this room. But one of the big things you need to think about when you're shooting video is backlight. And I have a little video here. Let's see. Camera's a little... I just shot this about 2 hours ago. And this shows backlight. You see how everything outside is the right lighting. But my hand that's right in front of me is just a silhouette. But when I just let this play for a second. But when I move it to something that the background is about the same lighting as my hand, then everything looks better. Because right now it's really bright outside and it's darker inside. So we have backlighting. You see how the camera adjusts. So if you're using the standard camera on here, which I'm using, and there are a lot of other video camera apps that are really nice. But this one's a standard one. That's what we're going to cover tonight. That is really everything is automated. So it's basically that what it is your exposure is automated, your focus is automated. So that's kind of the limitation of the camera. I'll just show you if you want to write it down. If you want to do something a little more advanced, is this one down here. It's called Filmic Pro. And that allows you to use the video camera more like a high-end, expensive camera. It was designed by filmmakers. So people actually do make movies with this.
And I can't see it. What does it say?
It's called Filmic, F-I-L-M-I-C.
Okay.
Pro.
Pro, like the
Pro, like professional.
Pro.
And that's a standard app?
It's an app. It's $4. Yeah, it's an amazing application. I can just open up really quick here.
Now, what does it do?
Do you really get
Oh,
better
you know what?
quality?
It's not going to show it on Apple TV. What was that?
Do we really get better quality? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying? Yeah.
you can control everything, and you can get really crazy with it. It's like I said, it's made by filmmakers, so
Okay.
that's what they want to use.
I'm sorry,
It
Mark,
doesn't
Matt.
show on Apple TV.
It won't broadcast it right now because it's a limitation of the app and Apple TV right now. So we're using kind of cutting edge technology. Apple TV is pretty new, and a lot of these apps are not made by Apple, so they're not designed to work with Apple TV yet.
What would they work with?
Well, they'll work with anything you shoot your video, and then you can upload it to YouTube or do anything else. But just in this live situation, to share it online live, it's not going to do that.
If you were in your house, could you have it on your Apple TV or no?
Yeah, it's basically right now what you need to do is save it on here, and then you can play it back. But it's because like I did this right here, this live video, it's just not set up to do that right now. Keith, did you have something? Oh, yes.
No, I did. I looked away and wasn't listening at that instant when you hit the do something, when you were showing your hand where it was backlit, it was silhouetted. You did something, and was that Filmic app?
It wasn't.
Doing
I
that?
just use tonight. I'm just using the camera app for iPhone,
Outside version.
and it's just I was just showing you want to make sure you don't have a really bright background.
Well, I understand that, but
There wasn't a setting.
Okay.
There wasn't a setting for it. But you can adjust that with Filmic Pro. The other thing I want to make sure is when you're shooting and you have overhead lights like this, if I'm standing right underneath an overhead light, these are a little bit diffused, but you get these weird shadows under people's faces and stuff. So if you're in that kind of situation, just back up so that light is more diffused coming towards the front instead of right over your head. And that's mostly in like business situations, you have this type of lighting. And then outdoors, if you're going to be shooting outdoors, if you're like shooting a Little League game or something, there's really not too much you can do about the lighting. But if you're going to be recording someone telling a story outside, the thing is you want to make sure they're in the shade. If they're in direct sunlight, you have really bright on one side, and then you have these dark shadows on the other side, and it's not as pleasing as being in some type of shade. Or if you have an overcast day, that's really high quality light. That's what it is for video.
I know when I take a picture on my iPhone, if I hold it up and I'm looking at what I'm going to take, and if I touch the screen at the darkest part, it focuses there, and so that it isn't backlit, you know, for example.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I use that with video?
Yes, it's taking a sample, but as people move, it'll adjust again. It doesn't lock in.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the limitation in that Filmic Pro. It's a little more advanced, but it is allows you to lock
if I'm
things in.
videoing like a Little League game, I can touch where that one shadow is, and it's going to stay there as I just hold it and watch the action happen.
Yeah, in most situations, if you have it's a big sample. When you think about the whole baseball field, it's a big sample of the light. But it was my hand right here, and all that light behind me was a different situation. Does that make sense? So if I moved my hand, it would throw the light.
Right.
All right. So outdoors, shoot in the shade for overcast days, better. And any questions about lighting? That's kind of a complex one. You could talk a whole day just on lighting. But very simple stuff. It's just going to improve the quality of your video if you just are cognizant of the light that's there. Now, if you're going to be shooting, someone said marketing videos. One thing I say about that is your background. You want to make sure you don't have a busy background, like people running around behind you, or you have a bunch of posters and signs and things that are more interesting than your message. I had someone do a testimonial for a company, and they sent it to us. I was like, this is a great testimonial. And then this cat jumps on the table, and there's climbing all over the table, and I just tuned out to what she was saying, because I was like, what's this cat going to do? Is this going to be funny? And just think about that when you have your message. You want to make sure you don't have any of those distractions. Yes?
Isn't there a type of shirt you should not wear in front of the camera?
Yes, you don't want to wear horizontal stripe shirts. It's just because of the way the camera's set up. But yeah, vertical stripes are a little bit better. I wasn't planning on doing a TV tonight, but all right. So I think that's what we have for the camera. Now we shot that little video of Keith. Let me go back to that. All right. So we got Keith here, and what we're going to do is we're going to trim a video. Now, I can't trim this one. It's a limitation, again, of projecting what I'm doing on Apple TV. So I'm going to head back over to some still shots. Over here. All right.
Addison's new subway.
Okay, if you shot some video tonight, I'm not sure if anybody shot a little bit of video, but you'll notice if you tap on the end or the beginning of this little timeline up here, or this little film strip, it'll turn yellowish orange, and you can grab that and move that, and you say, everything after that, I don't want to have on this video. Everything before that yellow line up there, I don't want to have on it. And what you do is you click that trim button, and you want to save it as a new clip, because if you don't save it as a new clip, it's destructive editing. It basically erases that old one and just cuts off the ends. You can't go back. So I always recommend, if you have space on your camera, save it as a new clip.
But then how do you see if people start doing that, and then like with Word documents even, I start getting confused because I have 6 things.
Sure.
And I want stuff cleaned up. I want that original gone. But I respect what you're saying, that maybe I really don't, because what if I do clip off too much?
I'll tell you right now, I've done it before where this is not exact. I play it back and it looks good, and I hit trim the original and then cut off my last word. And now I gotta do the whole thing again.
So when you save it as a new clip, how do you save it in a way that is distinct for you to know?
You'll see the time, if you'll see 2, you'll see one is shorter than the other.
Okay.
That's how I do it.
Okay, thanks.
And you can erase them at any time.
Wouldn't it just add like a numeric value at the end of the title too?
Just add 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that.
Unfortunately, it doesn't on your iPad. Possibly when you download it, you're going to see different file numbers.
How do you get to that page in the first place?
Well, this is, yeah.
Oh, there it is.
So,
I got it.
let me
Well, now
show
I'm
you
curious
on
then.
this here. So it's called the camera roll. If you're on your camera, I'm just going to open the camera here. There's this little square down here at the bottom. That's going to bring it right to your camera roll. Your camera roll is where all your videos and your still photos are saved. The other way to get to your camera roll is you'll see this little, I think it's a sunflower. That's all your photos and videos will be in there. Just click on that. Then you can have different folders if you want. Find your videos in there. Now I think this is a 64 gigabyte, so literally you could have, I don't know how many hours upon hours upon hours of HD video on here. So I really haven't erased anything on here since I got it. So it allows you to do that with so much space.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So after you've trimmed your video, and after you trim it, you're going to be looking at the trimmed piece that you got. Let's say this is the trim piece you want to share. So there's a little share button up here, right next to this timeline. You click on that, and this menu's going to drop down. And you can email it, message it, and send to YouTube or copy the video. Now I'll tell you, the only one I ever use is send to YouTube. If you email it, you're compressing that and sending a big file through email. I would recommend you don't do that. Message it is going to take it and compress it again and try to send it with your text message service. And it's just going to be a disaster because it'll say you can only use like 10 seconds of that video, and it'll say what 10 seconds do you want to send. So send it to YouTube. You're going to be able to send the whole thing in HD. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like next. You click on that, and this page is going to pop up here. Now, people who are interested in using this for marketing, this is really where people are going to find that your video is in your title, your description, and then your tags. Tags are like keywords. Anybody know what keywords are? They're like words that describe what your video is about. Single words or a couple words together. So if people want to share their videos with the world, that's what you do. If you're sharing this with your family and friends, title, whatever you want to call it, a little bit of description. I've done it where I said test, 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 and then just uploaded it. Sometimes they'll say you missed a field to fill in here. But put a title, a little bit of description. If you shot it in HD, just take the extra few seconds and upload that bigger file in HD. Don't bring it down to standard definition. I think a standard definition is like the old style of doing things. HD is the new style. In a few years it'll be, more people will be using 3D than it'll be holograms and everything. But for right now, we're using HD or high definition. And then your tags, again, that's only really if you're going to be using it for any kind of marketing purposes. And then your category. And again, if this is something you're just sharing with friends, keeping it in-house or it's not going to be public, you can just leave it wherever you want. Now you see down at the bottom it says public, unlisted, and then there's another one down below that says private. Public is, think of just that anyone in the world can see it and find it. Unlisted means you have to have a link to this video that I sent you or somebody shared with you in order to see this video. That's what I use for family and friends. And then down below would be private. I never use that because you try to send a link to somebody and if their email doesn't match up and they just don't see it, it's a real hassle. So unlisted, if you want to keep it within your circle of friends, and public if you want the world to see it. And then when you're done filling that out, you click up here and publish, and it's going to begin publishing that up to YouTube. And when it's done, you're going to get a little prompt here that says, the name of your video is published. You want to view it on YouTube or you want to tell a friend? Well, if you view it on YouTube, sometimes if it's a very short file, it's already done. It's already up there. It's live for the world to see or for your family to see. Sometimes you might have to wait a couple minutes if it's a longer file. And then tell a friend it's going to open up your email service, and then it's going to have the link in there, the name of the title, and you just put who you want to send it to. So that's how we're doing that bypass the computer altogether. We're shooting the video on our iPhone, and if you're in Wi-Fi, it's very easy to do this. Upload it to YouTube, click on tell a friend, and now you can send it that way. Yes?
Somehow I lost, after trim, I don't know how to get that drop down that sort of started asking hold up.
Yep. Okay, so trim, you got to this point.
Yeah.
Click on trim, it's going to trim your video. I have an extra one right here. This is that Apple share thing, so some of you may not have this one here. But it's this little arrow, this is a share button, arrow out.
Okay.
I can take a look at that too afterwards.
Sure, yeah.
Because I still want to get to editing and I want to just fly through that. All right, so we have, let me see, I think we have internet on here. Here we go. So let's talk about sharing. Now that we have our video up on the internet, either public or unlisted just for our social group. You have these buttons here down below. This one says share. Everybody see where my mouse is? Click on share. There's several things you can do. And YouTube adds stuff all the time. This right here, share with a playlist, that's new. That's new today. I come in here, I'm amazed. There's always new stuff. But most people want to share it on Facebook. That's what I use most of the time. Also Twitter, and then there's that G+, or Google+, if that's what you want to use. And then there's other social networks. A lot of people don't use these ones. That's why you have to open it up to do that. But here's a great one. You can just put your to and your notes to somebody, and you send it, and they're going to send a link right from that video page to whoever you want to send it to. All right, that's this video here. That's me doing a one-handed egg peel in 3 seconds. So you can basically send it from anybody to anybody, and that from address is going to be that Gmail address. Remember, you get the free Gmail address when you sign up. That's where it's going to be coming from. All right, so next I'm going to go on to editing. Is there any questions about all this YouTube stuff or shooting video? Anything we've covered up to this point? Okay, editing is pretty involved. I'm going to go over just a few basic things, and then from there we're going to wrap it up. Yes?
What if I can't get my thing to edit? I can't get the edit part to work.
The trimming?
Yeah, the trim.
So you want to make sure your cursor is towards the middle. It may think that you're trying to use the cursor. So move the cursor away from the first frame.
Okay.
And then tap on it, and then you should be able to move those ends. All right, and so let's see what I've got here for editing. We have this. Okay. Oops, we'll go to accessories after this. So let's talk about editing. Let's go back to here. I'm going to be using iMovie. Everybody here have you heard of iMovie? It's a great app. You can get it on the Apple App Store for $5. And it's got some amazing features. Actually, before I send this over, I want to show you a video that's let's see, of my daughter. We shot it on the iPad and edited it with iMovie. We did this in probably about 20 minutes. And let me just play it for you here.
Oh, so cute.
Let's see here. Okay, you have to refresh it. Okay, so some people may think, well, that's great. You've got 20 years of experience. You know, how am I supposed to?
Exactly.
How many of you guys know about Mad Libs? Remember Mad Libs, the little
Yeah.
notebook you fill in all these different things. Let's see if we
Sure.
can get this to share again for us. Alright, well, I'm going to use iMovie, and there's some really cool features with iMovie that allows you to use templates. And those templates are a lot like using Mad Libs. If you remember, it's fill in the blank. So they have it all laid out. You decide what you want those titles to say. Like it said, Princess Tales, you call it whatever you want. User templates, they have the music already set for you. And let me just show you what that would look like.
So you choose the font and you choose the words.
The font is chosen already to go with the whole theme.
Okay.
But you can see right here, it says medium shot, close up. 2 shot means a shot of 2 people, close up. And what it does is you put those little videos in there, and it strings it all together.
So it tells you what to put in there.
Yep, and it tells you about how
That's-
long it should be.
Okay.
So if this wasn't exactly where I wanted it, I can move it a little bit. Let's say I want to start there.
Oh.
But if you wanted to go to like the very the trailer where it's really in the raw format, you can see here's the current. Oops, let you see that down there. These are all the different ones they have here. Like here, this one is called narrative. Oh, you know what? That's why I put it on YouTube, because this doesn't project the audio the way it's set up right now. But basically, let me say this is the one we're going to create. Once we do that, I'll show you what it looks like when you first start. See, it's basically saying you want a wide shot. This is what a wide shot looks like, landscape, and so forth. And that's how you build it. This is great for kids. They pick up on this right away. So if you want to use this in a educational setting, kids just love this. My daughter, I don't know if you noticed in the beginning, she did not want to be on video.
Right.
But after she saw it, she felt like now she's a movie star. She wants to do another one. So then we did one for my son where he's a spy, and it was just a lot of fun. But you don't need to make videos like this with iMovie. You can actually use them for all kinds of things. Just start from scratch. And to save a little bit of time tonight, I'm going to just open this one here. I do a bunch of training videos, and so this one I'm talking about lighting and how light works using 2 lights. One of those lights right there. If we have time, I'll just show you. Are we over time?
Okay.
We're good? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some things here. I'm going to add some elements. So right here, you see all these videos. That's because I have video selected. If I wanted to add a photo, I go to this one right here, and I go to the camera roll, and it's just going to show me photos. It's not going to show me any of the videos. Now, if I want to add theme music to this, let's go to theme music. Let's go to playful. Of course, it's not going to play it this way. All right, so I'm going to select playful. They've got some great music beds in here, and so you can see. You see what all this looks like, mountain range here?
Yeah.
That's called a waveform. What it is just a visual representation of what that what it sounds like. So if you want to add music, you've got my voice here. If one is too loud, you can just tap on it, and you can change the volume. See how those mountains go up and down? I'm just changing the volume. You can see it slide over there. You can adjust the 2 volumes if you want. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail there, but you can do that. Let's say we want to add some text. So I'm double tapping right on this piece here, and I want to do titles. I want to do like this, and just put the person's name on there. And we're done. And when we play it back,
We're still in iMovies, right?
this is iMovie. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not going to play the audio for you, but you're seeing how it's set up. So you saw how that came in there, and it just the titles came in from the side. That's really professional. I know when I would have been doing this even 3-4 years ago, it would have just taken a lot of time to do all this stuff. Now it's just drag and drop. Really, that's all there is to it. So video, you can just let me just bring a piece of video in here. Here's the one from Keith. I'm going to just push that button, drop it in there. I've got Keith in here, and then what I can do is see these little yellow dots there. That's where you can trim it, just like you did in that other program. You can make it a little bit shorter, or if it's a long clip, you can make it a little bit longer if you want. And so I'm going to play that back.
Are you saying that you can't go into the middle of a video and edit out a piece of it?
That's right.
To
That's the
splice it.
limitation of this.
Well, you can't do it right straight on the iPhone. You can do it in iMovie.
iMovie for your Macintosh, you can actually export this to your iMovie for your Macintosh
Right.
and finish the program there with that. That program has
With
got a
that
lot more
feature.
features.
Okay.
Yep. The other thing you do is if you do want to edit and edit things out, you cut up to that point where you want to edit, and then you bring that clip in, and then you cut everything up to that point. It's a little bit clunky, but that's a limitation of this. It's a $5 app that does some amazing things. But that is a limitation, definitely. Yeah. And let's see if there's anything else. We covered trimming, audio levels, text, music, uploading it to YouTube. Oh, one last thing I want to show you. So it's like you forgot something, you want to add it to it. Well, you can shoot something. I'm just going to record this beautiful chair here. And great. That's what I want. I want to use that. It says use down at the bottom. It's not projecting that part. Once I click on use, it just popped it right in at the end of that there. And then if I wanted to add my voice to it, I could add audio. This is Matthew, 1, 2, 3. 2. Hi, this is Matthew, and I'm recording my audio here. And then you can accept it, discard it, or whatever you want. You can see it added another audio track. So let's back out of this. This is my project right here. It starts with a black ring, that's why you don't really see anything there. And now I want to use this share button. I go to YouTube, and it's basically the same as what we did before. That's what I did with my daughter's video. We just took it right up through here. And that is editing on the iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch. Any questions about the editing features? Yes.
Is that app able to be on a platform, PC platform, or?
It is not. No, it's
It's
this
just strictly
app is
Apple.
strictly for the iDevices, but it does allow you to export your projects to a Mac. So, yep, if you have iMovie, this is $5. iMovie for the Mac is like $14, $15. Great program if you want to go a little bit more advanced than this.
Is there an app to be had that you can, because it seems pretty coarse when you're trimming the slightly finger and things like that, that you could actually sort of knock maybe 2 frames or something like that off and then just sort of do it that way, or was it going to be always pretty?
Yeah, especially on the iPhone, it's like building a ship in a bottle. That's so small. You're doing
Yeah, you're doing it over and over again. You still never get it right.
Yeah.
Like you're going to trim 3 frames and you get 6 and 9 and
Yes.
2 and whatever.
So it's great. It's got its limitations. It'll probably get better. But as you touch the end of the video file, what happens is it expands way out. So it zooms in. So you are moving. You are just trimming a few off at a time.
Yeah, I always find it a bit sort of a little bit too close for what I like it.
Yes.
But do you know of any app that will do it? That you can actually tap it in like 3 frames or something like that, or?
Not on the iPad that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
It may be out there, but I don't have it.
It used to be one.
Yes.
Now, I've used the PC Movie Maker to use with some of the videos.
Yeah, you can.
Labor intensive because it's so big.
Yeah, and the thing is, what I teach is bypass all the stuff on the PC and Mac. Use this. It's going to do 90% right on these iDevices. 90% of what you need to do. If you want to do something more for business or marketing videos, I have people that help me with that. I found I'm a perfectionist. It's just I was spending hours and hours editing things.
Well, I was wondering if I can take a video that I just took with the phone, upload it to YouTube, can I then get it back on my PC somehow?
Yes. Yep. There, if you own the video, just go into your video manager, and then there'll be a download button in there.
Oh.
And it's
Also
all
free
set,
software.
ready to put up on any website, play on anything.
That's what I
Any other questions? We're going to do this as a question time. I don't know if we have time, but I can just point at a couple of these fun doodads here. Yes?
Just in relation to his question, YouTube also has its own video editor, so if there is a video on there that you already own and you'd like to edit prior to even putting it on your PC, you can do it.
Yep, you can go to youtube.com/edit, and they've got a little editor on there. And it's advancing. There's a new feature on YouTube today. And as I teach people, it's like, oh, there's a new thing here today. So it just gets better and better. I know a lot of people believe that the cameras on here aren't as good as a DSLR, which they're not. But this is kind of the future of what cameras are going to look like. They're going to be Wi-Fi, so they can share it. And the lenses and the components on these things are going to get better and better as time goes on. So that's why I'm training on this. So as the iPad 4 and 5 and 6 come out with better and better, we're already ready to use it.
Can you do? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I just suddenly thought of it when you were talking about that because my son has a Wii, not a Wii, that other thing. What's that blue thing?
DS?
The DS, and it has the two lenses, so it effectively can make a 3D image.
Oh, yeah.
So could that be uploaded onto that thing, or you do that through YouTube and then come back, bring it back?
I saw someone just created a 3D lens for an iPhone. And it's just something you snap onto the iPhone and it's
just a splitter and
yeah, and then
okay.
it uses an app so it makes it color differences. I've never used it. It's something, I believe it's in beta right now. They're trying to get funding to make it mass market, but that is something they're doing is 3D. I haven't dabbled in 3D. It's not something that interests me for what I use it for, but I think it's a little bit of a novelty yet. All right. Are there more questions, or do you want me to kind of cover some of these things really quick? Yes.
No, go ahead, cover those things.
Okay.
There is one thing I'd like to ask. Is there a way of transferring stuff from YouTube straight to a DVD, loading onto a DVD?
I have not done that.
Okay.
It saves it as a MP4,
Yeah.
plays on anything, but I
Yeah.
think you need an intermediate program to do that.
Because I got lots of pictures of, well, not pictures, but videos of my daughter. I'd like to put them onto DVD for my technophobic parents. Which they can use a DVD player, but computers are kind of beyond them anyway. And just edit them all together and just one big thing, stick it in and.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
It does seem
YouTube
like-
to DVD. That's a good
Well,
one.
YouTube
Well,
Downloader is the name of a
CD or
program
DVD
that's
anymore.
free. I
Is it?
picked up YouTube Downloader.
Okay.
It's free. It's for PC. I
Yeah.
don't know if it'll work on this,
Okay,
but
I'll have a look at it. Maybe thanks.
it's easy and fast.
Yeah.
Okay, cheers.
All right, so I'm just going to go over a couple of these things. Obviously, if everybody's familiar with a tripod, this one you can get at some place like Target for about $15. It's up to about 50 inches, so it's about this high. When you're paying for $15 for a tripod, you're really just kind of locking it into a position. Because if you try to move back and forth, it doesn't have what they call a fluid head, and you just kind of get a little bit jerky. It's not pretty. So you use a tripod with your iPhone or iPad or whatever. You just want to lock it in, unless you're going to spend about $60 to $100 anymore. This is a really cool little tripod that I picked up. It's called a Gorilla Pod, and you can wrap it around trees and things. This is a unique one here because it has a unique feature where you can do that.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I've done it where I've talked on a video and I magnetize it and just put it right on my refrigerator, and you can set your iPhone on here. This is about $27, $30.
I just saw one of those the other day at the store. I was at a thrift store, and I had, what is this stupid looking tripod looking thing? I didn't realize that it would do those things.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a toy.
It wraps around, if you're outside.
Branch or something like you said.
Yeah,
that's
you
great.
can put it on uneven surfaces like rocks or something. It's just a great way to get yourself away from the camera and video yourself or someone else. I'm not going to demonstrate this right now, but you can even get little lenses. This is a wide-angle lens. It also has a macro lens on it for $8. And what it does is it's a magnet. It just snaps onto your iPhone. They have clip-on ones as well. There's tons of accessories.
And what does that do? Sorry.
Oh, it's a wide-angle lens.
Wide angle.
So you're going to get more of a shot.
But not for the iPad.
Not for the iPad,
Right.
yeah.
Just the phone.
But as I say this, there are people developing this stuff. So, next week or next month, you can do a search on Google and someone's already has it. So it's just, this stuff is brand new. Microphones, if anybody's looking to use microphones, just come up to me afterwards. There's a shotgun style microphone for about $45. That allows you to point right at your subject. You're not going to get all that room noise. So for $45, it's a great mic. Then you also have wired lapel mics or lavalier mics. And this is about a 20-foot cable on there. Now, if you want to use any kind of microphone, standard microphone with your iPhone or iPad, you are going to need a little adapter. All right, this adapter you can get through KV Connection, and it's about $26. So,
I'm sorry, the thing right before that, how much was that?
this right here,
Yeah.
this is about $25 on Amazon. The thing is, I used to carry all these big crates of video equipment. And this is what I use now. It's kind of embarrassing, but this is my son and daughter's diaper bag. And I can carry everything I need in here.
Wow.
Especially if I just use this and I keep in mind where I'm setting my shot. I'm not going to have a really tall tripod. I just make do with what I have. I can keep this in the car or something, but when I just come in to do some video, I just grab this, and it really surprises people. Now, I think probably most of you have noticed that there's no place to screw in a tripod into an iPhone or iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you need some kind of adapter. This is one that I created here that since you got a glass back and front, you just push this on here, and now you've got this, it's locked on there, and you just screw it onto your tripod. There's a variety of them. You can go to the Apple store and pay $30 for something like that. Now here's another one. This one is made to just snap your iPhone into it, like that, and then it has the receiver on the bottom. Mm-hmm. This one actually comes with this, which is really neat. Let me just put this on here. This allows you to videotape yourself like this. And it's great if you want to walk around, like if, say if you're a real estate agent, you want to give a tour of something, you can point things around. It's just a lot of fun. If you're on vacation, you can put this in your backpack. It's very lightweight, and then you can get you and your family as you're on vacation or what have you. So that's a great little thing. This is I think about $20. And if you have something that's like a smartphone that's not the standard size here, you have something like this. It's a spring-loaded mount that you just put it on like that, and you have your receiver on the bottom. This is about $10. So you're going to spend about $10 to $20 for an iPod or iPad. Actually, iPad mount is quite a bit more because there's so much weight. And you can't put an iPad on something like this. It's too weak for it. I've actually created an iPad mount. It was about $6 in parts. But if you want to get a professional one, you're going to spend about $120. And they have them where there's interchangeable lenses and stuff. So they've really made some advancements. Last two things. This is not an iPhone, but this is a fun thing I just used. I was doing some climbing. This is called a GoPro. This is an adventure camera, so you can put it on the front of the car. You can put it on a helmet. There's people doing some crazy things with it, doing parachuting with it and such. Now, if you were inclined to get some video lights, because you want to have more light indoors, you can get something like this. This is a utility light you can get down at Home Depot or Menards. It's about $7. And this bulb in here is a CFL, or compact fluorescent light, and is 42 watts, but puts out roughly 200 watts of pure white light. You want to get the daylight bulbs if you want to do that. The reason I do that is because I like to, you've seen the Apple commercials where it's like all white behind them. So it's a person from this big white background. So if you have white, use white lights, it makes it look really nice. But if you want to go the next step, this right here is a part of a 2-light set. This is, for 2 of these, it's about $110. But what it does is it has 5 different bulbs just like this in there. And they're extremely lightweight. I don't want to blind anybody. I don't think they're really that blind, but you can see what the configuration is. The great thing about compact fluorescent lights, it does not take a lot of electricity. When I was doing video production professionally a few years ago, we used these lights that were very expensive and they were very hot, and they took all this electricity to the point where we had to break up where in the house or where in the business we were plugging into because we'd blow breakers. And the other thing is, these don't get hot. These are plastic components that allows you to keep the cost down. And with so many, they do have these with just one bulb in it that's larger, but it's like $40 to replace. These you can just go down to, like I said, Menards and get a bulb for $8. Yes?
Can you give an example of when and how you've used that, please?
Yeah, this is a softbox, and it's really forgiving for lighting someone. So normally you'd have 2 of these. I like to use 2. Sometimes you use 3. So I put this on here. It diffuses the light quite a bit. Remember how I said videotaping outside on an overcast day? It's really nice. So this really diffuses the light. So you have 2 of these, and what I like to do is put the camera right here, have the other light at kind of the 2 and 10 o'clock positions like this.
Okay.
And what it does is it's a flat light. It's not the highest quality light, but for 90% of what I do, it's perfect.
Can you just tell me the last time you used it? I'm just trying to think creatively.
Last time, how I used it last
Yeah.
time? Yeah, so I'd have let's see, I just,
No, like the subject.
oh, me standing in front of a white screen. I like to do that because it's very clean, there's no distractions behind me. So I'll be sharing my message of, how to do marketing videos or whatever with a
Right.
white background. And
You'll use that lighting.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, and then I actually use these, so I'll have a white background, and I light the white background with these.
At the same time. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
That is really all I have. I don't have anything else to share. If there's any more questions, or I was stumped a little bit when you guys raised a question earlier, please see me and I'll be able to help you. And if there's anybody who wants more training, we do have more training. I think everybody had a flyer there. We have online programs, and we're going to do a live event. And then if you would please give me some feedback. This is the first time I've done something like this in the library.
Oh, you did a great job.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
very nice.
Especially if it's your first time.
And so I just love to find out where I need to improve on. And then if you want to write something in there, it's like, man, I'd like to know more about how you do it with the iMovie videos or something else, completely different. If you're part of an organization or business you'd like me to speak for you, just note that on there, and we'd be happy to help you out.
You said you were taking this, and
Yes.
if we gave you email,
Yeah, I think it'd be on there. If you want to share your email or
Okay.
phone number or whatever, we can get more information to you. Now, I also have a YouTube channel that has probably about 60 training videos on there. And you can go to youtube.com/expertvideoempire. And it's all free there. I cover how to do a little bit more on the editing and setting up your YouTube, optimizing your YouTube if you have a business.
How are you making money if you provide all that free?
Well,
That's what
what
you
we
find
do
out when
when
you
we
do
give
that.
stuff for free is to give people a sample of the quality of the work we do. So I have training days and I have online training products where people can learn at their own pace, things like that.
Matthew, would you repeat that address?
Yeah, it's youtube.com/expertvideoempire.
Isn't this one here essentially going to get you this?
That's the actual event that I have
Okay.
in a couple months.
Oh, okay.
That's a one-day event.
So we don't have it on what you just said.
No, that's not his site that he's talking about. If you want to see what he has already.
Yeah,
But typing your name into the tags or something on YouTube would eventually drag us to you.
yes.
Or
And
not
so
drag, but lead.
lead. Hopefully lead. You'll see what I do is if you're going to use this for business at all. I'll show you one thing. Keith is really the master of this stuff, but one of the things we've done is, if I open this up, the thing we were just looking at was I had me on here. You see at the end, you end your videos with what's called a call to action, saying go to our website and you get more free videos. So I have on this mobile video ignition, there's actually a PDF guide. It's 18 pages. It has all the equipment I show you here, the lights to buy, where to get them. If you want to get microphones or adapters and all that stuff, that's where you get it. So, yeah. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming out. Thanks, Jim, for hosting us here tonight. And I know Patrick got all the technology stuff in the room set up for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.